My name is Lion Adedayo Olubuiwa. Today I have something that is extremely important for my global audience members, and the title of today's topic is Reading Fluency and Dyslexia. Okay, 10 plus neuroscience inspired ideas that you need to know. Okay, I repeat, reading fluency or reading proficiency and dyslexia, 10 plus neuroscience inspired ideas that everyone out there needs to know. If you're a school owner, if you're a parent, if you're an educator, you get the information, or a student who's aspiring to become an educator in the future. Okay, this video is important for you. There are some themes that we are going to be looking at one after the other, like the title of the topic of the video says 10 plus. So we are going to be looking at the evolution of reading. We are going to be talking about human language and reading circuitry or neurocircuitry. We're going to be talking about reading, okay, reading and the brain. Okay, things that we are going to be looking at is the role of the parents, okay, in the evolution of the reading circuitry in the brains of their world. We are going to be looking about maybe discussing quickly factors, okay, that accelerate, okay, infant, okay, reading. Okay, can a child read, okay, before 5? We are going to be talking about reading difficulty and disorder. Okay, what is dyslexia, types of dyslexia, symptoms of dyslexia, and academic interventions, okay, that one can really apply to help a child who is experiencing difficulty in reading. So, but before we go into today's topic, it is important for me to let my viewers know that today I run an organization. I've lectured before. I've taught for close to 20 years, but presently I run an independent consulting firm that is referred to as Educational Africa Consulting Limited, and I have some PhD holders, some educational consultants that we've partnered. We're currently training teachers, school owners, education students, parents, etc. on a concept, a groundbreaking concept that is referred to as a masterclass in educational neuroscience. This is the course curriculum. It contains about 25 groundbreaking topics that cover everything that a school owner needs in order to achieve sustainable school growth for his or her noble school. Topics, okay, that will help an educator become a leader in the education system and a kind of an asset to his or her employer. Okay, the topics would really make that educator become indispensable and irreplaceable in the education sector. Please, if you know you're interested, you just let me know. Presently, we've covered almost, there's no state in Nigeria that we've not trained participants and school owners. In fact, we are currently attracting some participants from neighboring African countries, South Africa, Equatorial Guinea, and we have Ghanaians and South Africans that have also participated in the training. It covers issues like dyslexia, dyscalculia, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, struggling learner, uh, things like it covers topics like these poor performing, okay, learners, how to really help them. In fact, we've gone beyond those common, okay, difficulties, okay, or yes, common difficulties and common challenges that learners have experienced. Now we have therapies, okay, theoretical therapies and evidence-driven, okay, therapies that educators and school owners can use to encourage and to empower neurodivergent students, okay, like those who have Down syndrome, who are suffering from autism, etc. And we have testimonial from our educators, from our graduates, from school owners, etc. If you know you're interested, please kindly just leave a comment, then I would respond, okay, to your comment. So the first question, the first theme, okay, in today's video is the evolution of reading. Reading is a cultural invention, and please do not forget we were created, okay, for speech, okay, for language, but evolution and God Almighty never created us, to do what? To be readers. So reading is something that was invented, about 5 to 6 thousand years ago, and uh, it is not easy, and reading does not come naturally. So that is one thing I just want us to really understand about the evolution of reading itself. Then the second thing that we are going to be talking about quickly, has to do with human language and reading circuitry. We are the evolution has already given us, the language, network and system that is in the brain. That the brain contains about two hemispheres. If you look at this picture, this is what, a kind of an image, that reveals the lobes. We have about four of them. There is other one called the insula. That one is deep inside, of the brain. So this parietal lobe, frontal lobe, temporal lobe, they play key roles in what? In language ability. They play key roles in language ability, despite the fact that the ability to really for reading is both hemisphere driven, but reading, is specifically located in the left hemisphere of the brain. Like, let me just show you the next image. If you look at this image here, this is what this image is revealing, the left hemisphere. If you look at this part is dedicated to language. The ability to really speak, and to speak audibly, so that your listener can really hear you, is located in the left hemisphere. Then luckily, for the typicals, their reading circuitry is intertwined, with the language, with the language circuitry. The point I'm quickly trying to make is this: that language provides just like the foundation for reading. So reading is somehow integrated, is intertwined, with the structure that is situated mainly in the left hemisphere. So that is why you see people who don't, who are not, who have what is called developmental language disorder. They find it very difficult. This difficulty extends, to dyslexia. So do not forget, language and reading are left hemisphere situated. That does not mean that the right hemisphere does not play a role. For example, the right hemisphere is connected, is responsible for what is called prosody, the speech, the inflection of speech, stress, etc. So let's go to the next point. Then, what is reading? Reading simply is an art. It is a systematic process of decoding printed, materials. Not only printed materials, people who are blind, who are braille readers, also engage in reading. Then today we have this audio reading, etc. So reading is just the ability to make sense of alphabet, well arranged alphabet, what is known as the mastery of the alphabetical principle. Then parents and early exposure. Yes, please, it is important for us to really understand this fact, that the language circuitry is important, for reading, just like I've stated. So parents, they should be aware that whenever their young ones are really growing up, in fact, they should start talking and speaking to their children while the children, are still in their wombs. I'm really talking to mothers, for example. So as soon as the mothers give birth, so it is important for mothers to do what? To interact with their children. There's something called motheries, but now it has been changed to parentees. These are words that parents stress. Like, for example, children who are beginning to learn how to speak will start with blabbing. As soon as the children start saying dada, so it is important for parents to listen to them and to keep interacting, communicating. Don't think that these children are young. No, as you are providing that, it is called auditory input. This affect the neurons, the language in neurons. If you look at this picture, this is a picture of a cell. It is known as a neuron. Okay, we have about 86 to 100 billion neurons, and they are mainly situated, okay, in the brain. So we have different populations of neurons that are dedicated to specific activity. So as parents interact with their children, the language neurons, okay, that are situated mainly in the left hemisphere of the brain, they become active and they start talking to one another, and by so doing, they create a formidable language network and circuitry for that child. And it will really help the child as soon as this child, okay, start schooling, because like I said, language and reading are intertwined. So if a child, okay, before even starting school, if that language secretary is strong, so reading is going to really what it will come, okay, easily for that child. So interacting with your child is giving your child a future academic advantage. Then let's talk about, okay, factors that accelerate infant reading. Yes, I've just talked about that. There's a concept called hyperplasia. Hyperplasia, okay, is the ability of a child to read beyond his or her age, and research has actually shown that, okay, children who end up becoming, okay, hyperlexic is because of the home front advantage, the exposure to language, okay, to the exposure to multiple auditory signals, okay, which go just to impact their language circuitry and make them, okay, gifted, okay, readers, or competent readers, or expert readers as soon as they start schooling. Then disorder is also known as hypolasia or dyslexia. That is reading, some call it, okay, reading difficulty. Okay, reading difficulty is the inability of a child to decode, okay, to printed materials. Okay, it has to do with like one of the main factors, okay, that leads to dyslexia or reading difficulty has to do with it is called phonological, okay, blindness and impairment. Okay, the inability of a child to really understand that there's a connection, okay, between alphabets and sounds. That leads, okay, to what? That often leads to what is called a dyslexia, and there are mainly two types of dyslexia: developmental and acquired dyslexia. Please, I've shot so many other videos on my YouTube channel. I'm going to really advise you to really check, okay, if you want to do further research regarding, okay, dyslexia. Then I've talked about what is dyslexia, types of dyslexia, then symptoms of dyslexia. They are very simple. Okay, a child who finds it very difficult to remember, okay, ABC, okay, that is a sign of dyslexia. If the child, if you take that child today ABCD, then tomorrow you ask the child and the child says A, and the child becomes stuck. Okay, this could be, okay, as a result of what, of working memory impairment, but it is one of the symptoms. Then secondly, a child who whenever the child actually sees anything that is any printed material, the child, okay, feels this sense of anxiety. The child is disinterested, okay, in reading. That is another sign of what, of dyslexia. Okay, a child who writes A, okay, and writes C, ABC, A, and forgets B and writes C. Okay, this is also a sign of dyslexia. Or a child who spells with, okay, spells W, okay, T, okay, IH. Okay, these are little signs of dyslexia. Or a child who finds it very difficult to really understand, to comprehend simple stories, okay, in a passage, okay, to really bring out, okay, maybe the themes. Okay, these are symptoms of dyslexia. Then in some of my videos, I have talked about different academic interventions and therapies that one can really use to help a struggling learner, or a child who is really experiencing reading difficulty, or who is dyslexic. There are so many neurotechnologies out there that can be used, okay, to help people who are dyslexic. And then please do not forget that according to the University of East Anglia, okay, they said that 14%, okay, of the world's population is illiterate. That is about 14%, and in Nigeria, about 30 million Nigerians are dyslexic. Then, according to UNESCO, about 700 million people are illiterate. They don't have access, to education, and illiteracy often, leads to what? To acquired dyslexia. Then, according to University of East Anglia too, they said uh, that people with poor literacy, battle more with health problems worldwide. So there's a kind of the inability to read. The inability to, if somebody actually falls sick and the person actually visits a doctor, okay, the ability to read how to take the drugs, becomes a very big challenge. In America, about 50% of prison inmates are dyslexic. Then in Israel, about 75% of prisoners in Israel, they are dyslexic, and that is why I have been concerned, about dyslexia. Our organization has been training people not only in Nigeria but in Africa. We've been writing articles. In fact, the first book on educational neuroscience that really shares some experiences, some case studies of learners that we've assisted, to become expert readers. They are there in in our textbook. It is titled "The Neuroscience of Effective Teaching and Learning." It was co-authored by Dr. Ukeme, Usman, and I. So apart from the fact that we have neurotechnologies that are used, for interventions, do not forget dyslexia is a permanent kind of difficulty. But dyslexics, and other neurodivergent students or learners can also be helped. We have the TMS, just like a magnet, that is actually put, on the surface, of the brain, that sends, little pressure, straight into that circuit, the reading circuit, in the brain, and so maybe some neurons, who have been so inactive can be stimulated to so that they can become active, and by so doing, after some period, you discover that the missing, circuits or microcircuits, for reading, can become what? Robust and active. By so doing, you discover that those learners, those dyslexic, in the long run, will be able to at least read and to cope, in the education sector. Then in our master class in educational neuroscience, we have more than 25 plus academic interventions and theories that we've been sharing, that participants have been applying, and they've been generating results. That is why up to this moment we've not done any paid advert. Our graduates are the ones spreading information, this word of mouth information, from one place to the other, and that is why we've gone beyond Africa. And then quickly, according to neuroscience news, they said we also know that the lower literacy is that lower literacy is related to poorer health, chronic diseases, and shorter life expectancy. Most dyslexic, just because they cannot read, they seem to have little knowledge of the world. It is only those individuals who can read, the typical readers, or the literates, that can read and have access to world-class information that is going to not only better their lives, but that will make them succeed socio-economically. So that is one of the reasons why my colleagues and I, we are currently teaching school owners, empowering school owners. In fact, about last month, I was in Lagos, where I went to Porterville's schools, to conduct a free seminar on neuroparenting, because we've trained the proprietors and some of our teachers. So the proprietors invited us that it is important that parents also have this knowledge. We've trained the proprietors of Donrav, nursery and primary school, and we've also gone to our school to train teachers, to train parents. As I speak to you now, there are some schools here in Abeokuta who are interested in our educational neuroscience training. So please, these are ideas that I strongly believe are worth sharing. But if you register for our master class in educational neuroscience, all these ideas that I shared, that I briefly shared, will be exposed to you. You will not only become empowered to solve academic problems, you will be an outstanding school owner, a proprietor or a proprietor to be it. And if you are an educator, you would end up becoming an asset to your employer. By so doing, your salary, your position in that school will definitely be, you will be elevated. So thank you so very much. If you have any questions, kindly leave a comment, share this video, okay, like it. And if you have any questions, or drop them, I will definitely respond. Thank you so much once again. My name is Adedayo Olumuyiwa. I am a lecturer. I'm also an educational neuroscientist. Currently, we are pioneering educational neuroscience not only in Nigeria but in Africa. Thank you so much, and as I see you in the next video.